Oh my gosh, who is she? Does she even go here? Does she even remember how to make a video for YouTube.com? Not really, but here we are. Hi, my name is Jackie. I read books sometimes and I make videos even less frequently. Whoops. But basically I'm here today to, as you can tell by the title of this video, talk to you about my physical TBR problems, because let me tell you, it's getting to be a little bit crazy and a little bit extra. Now, I'm not the kind of person that really minds owning a bunch of unread books. I like owning a lot of books in general. It just makes me feel good looking at all of them and being like, ugh, look at all these cool titles. I can't wait to read them. But I'm going to be moving sometime this year, hopefully. I'm really excited about it. But it just seems like, you know, I'm already going through and like Marie Kondoing the rest of my life, and I can't go any further. I've already gone through all of my books and like I've done as much as I can do. I can't cut it down anymore without actually reading the thing and then deciding, okay, I like this enough to bring it with me. So that's a problem, because as it stands, I currently have 93 unread books that I physically own. And that's just crazy. That's so many extra books that like I don't even know if I'm gonna like them. I'd like to be able to cut that number down and only bring with me the books that I love the most. And I can't know which books those are until I read them, is the weird thing about this particular hobby. You have to actually consume the thing in order to know if you like it. Weird. So yeah, basically I have 93 books and I would really like to cut that physical TBR in half. I don't think that it's necessarily going to happen this year, but I would like to cut down as many as possible towards that goal, so that when I do go to move, I will have a better idea of which books I'm willing to donate or sell or leave behind, and which ones I actually want to bring with me. So, couple of ground rules for me, and I mean, I'm telling you because I figure a bunch of us are always doing this on BookTube, like people are always trying to tackle their TBRs, so I figure if you're holding me accountable, I'm more likely to actually do the thing, and that way if you're doing it too, we can kind of cheer each other on, have each other's backs, that sort of thing. But anyway, ground rules for me. I am still allowed to buy books this year. However, if I am going to buy a book, I have to make that book the next thing that I read, and I have to start it within a week of purchasing it or so. Otherwise, I'm just not allowed to get it at all. Because I'm fine with it being a zero-sum game. Like, okay, sure, I didn't take away from the TBR, but I also didn't add to it. Like, that's fine. Especially if I end up really loving the book, and then I just have another book I love for my collection. Great. The issue is just trying to make sure that I don't end up, you know, buying 3 books and then again, never reading them for like 3 or 4 years. I'm trying to just not make the pile any bigger than it already is. So that's rule number 1. Second rule is, I think I should just have always been doing this. I don't know why I haven't always had this as a rule for myself. Like, we've all definitely had at least a couple of series where like you purchased them as they came out, and then when you got to the end, you just didn't even love the series, or you hated the way it ended and you don't want to own them anymore. And it's like, well, why didn't I just borrow these from the library, and then now I'm stuck with all these books that I don't even like. Like, I should have just read them and then found out, oh good, I love them, and then bought them for myself, rather than the other way around, you know? So that's my rule for this year, is that if any of these books are part of a series, I'm not allowed to buy the sequel. I have to borrow it from the library, and only if I love it am I allowed to purchase it. Because again, it's not that I'm trying to cut down the number of books I own, I'm just trying to cut down the number of unread books that I own, you know? So yeah, those are the 2 main things. And then beyond that, I'm honestly just gonna try and see like how many different reading challenges I can come up with for myself to try and motivate me to get through all of these books. In terms of March, I'm already reading Crooked Kingdom because I read Six of Crows that had been sitting on my shelf for a while. So once that's done, there are like maybe 3 or 4 other books that I already think I'm going to try and get to. But beyond that, I'm really not sure what my strategy is going to be. I think one of the most fun readathons I could probably give to myself is that one where you pick a spot on your bookshelf and you just read from there forward, just like right down the line. I think that might help because I have so many good choices and I'm not sure where to go next. And I think that's part of the problem, is I just need to have something in my brain making that decision for me so I can just get through as many books as possible. We'll see. If you have any suggestions or things that you've done to try and get through your TBR faster, please let me know, because I'm not sure which to prioritize. Like, do I just prioritize the books I'm most excited about, or do I prioritize ones that have been sitting there for a long time? Like, I don't know. I think in general, the only thing I know I'm going to try to do is prioritize my standalones, because, you know, if I'm reading like Nevernight, I only own the first one. And so if I love it, I'm going to want to read the rest of the series. And that's great. Like, okay, I've read 3 more books, good for me, but only one of them was actually towards this goal. And so that's not as productive as like reading 3 books that were all on this TBR and like getting all 3 of them off the TBR, you know? So that's going to be a thing. Also, I am going to give myself permission to DNF books earlier if I really don't like them. Like, I don't do that often, but usually I wait till about the 50% mark before giving up. I'm going to give myself permission to give up by like the 30% mark if I absolutely feel it's necessary. And also, at the end of each month, I think I'm just going to go through again and decide, okay, are there any books on the shelf that I've just decided I don't have an interest in anymore, and I'm just going to get rid of them. Donate them, whatever. I'm just going to have to be more cutthroat about it, no like hemming and hawing about like, well, maybe I'll get to this. Like, no, we have to make those hard decisions so that future Jackie has less stuff to pack, because nobody likes packing and moving the actual stuff when it comes to moving to a new place. Like, that's the least like fun part of the whole thing. Yeah, so that's pretty much all that's going on, is I'm going to try and cut down this TBR from 93 to 47. And hopefully you can join me for the ride. Hi, Editing Jackie here. I forgot to mention, I actually made a shelf on my Goodreads called Physical TBR. So if you want to keep track of my progress there, you can go ahead and do so. I'll leave my link to my Goodreads in the description. You can see all the titles that are on there, see if we have any in common, and then you can recommend, if you want, which one I should do next. Because I'll always take, suggestions, especially if you wanted to read them around the same time, then we can talk about them together. So yeah, check that out in the description if you want to actually see what books are on my Physical TBR. And yeah, I'll pass it back over to past Jackie to close out the video. I'm hoping that by the end of March, I will have read at least 4 or 5 books from this list, but we'll see how I do. And I'll let you know which ones those were at the end of the month. And yeah, if you have a physical TBR you're trying to tackle, let me know in the comments. Let me know how many books are on there. Make me feel better. Hopefully I'm not the only person in this situation right now. Let me know also what your favorite book of 2020 has been so far. I've only read a few, but I really enjoyed everything I have read. And so maybe I'll talk about that later, but I'd love to know what you are reading and how you are doing. And yeah, it's good to see you again. We'll see if I actually put this up in the first place, because Lord knows it's been forever since I've done a booktube. I'm gonna stop talking now because I don't remember how to do an outro. And yeah, we will check in with you soon, and I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye.